Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Renu. I make videos on TR to PR pathway, Federal Skilled Worker Program, CEC, for those who are actually visiting for the first time. And for those who have not subscribed to my channel, I will highly recommend because I have been covering a lot, and with your queries, I try to address online. Today, I will be discussing more timelines, especially in the beginning of November, what we experienced, and in different streams. Good news is that IRCC has actually picked up cases not just in between 12 to 1, but it has exceeded the time limit even 2 o'clock. So earlier, like last week when I've recorded a video, it was in between 12 to 1:30. Now we can see the timelines that actually goes up to 1:50, 3:15, and various and with dependents and individual cases. So I'll be covering a little more in detail today. Let's dive into it. The first case over here is for stream B, non-healthcare. Now, for those who have received the AOR and they have not get the request from IRCC regarding the submission of additional document, I would recommend you can always do it by yourself. You don't have to depend upon IRCC that visa officer would send you an ADR or additional document requisition to submit the pending documents. You can do it by yourself through IRCC web form, and I have explained the whole process. I'll send all the link in the description box below the current video. I would highly recommend please go one by one, and especially for those who have any kind of doubt, I have covered all the formats, also how exactly the acknowledgement letter look like and how would look like, how would you receive the PR portal confirmation, and everything is there, and the link is in the description box below. So the first case over here, if you see 6:36 p.m. Eastern time, this is again tremendous because it's now pretty fast. This applicant has applied under stream B non-healthcare. He's applied on May 6th, and if you see here 6:36 p.m. Eastern time, got the AOR on September 29th, and a day before that only he was able to link up his application. So linking up his application is why a lot of you might have the same question. Linking up your application is important because that way you will be able to get all the updates, and sometimes when you link up the application you will realize that there has been a request for the IELTS score or for police clearance certificate, and if you see that IRCC always ask you a required set of document with a time period. Usually it's like 7 days time period, or if it's police clearance certificate or RCMP fingerprints, then they would allow you at least 30 days time period. So try to link up your application once in a daytime. Don't do it more than 4 attempts, otherwise it would block you for 24 hours. I've explained the process also. Just use your application number and the family name, and whatever the information you have available, you can try doing it. Sometimes when you link up your application, in few of the cases, candidates were not able to see the updates. So the second alternative is you can also create another GCK account and try to see whether you would be able to get the update. Now this I'm talking based upon various applicants. They were not able to get the update while with the first link up, and they started getting the updates with the second link up, like the second account. I hope that makes sense. Now this is like BIL and medical were passed on September 9th, and this is like prior to this only. Now there was ADR. The ADR is like a additional document requisition. It's usually been asked by IRCC when they are in doubt. Now a lot of you might have the same reason that, oh, I forgot to submit my pay stubs at the time of submission, or I have submitted only 2 pay stubs. Will my case get rejected? Well, if IRCC visa officer, like while he's evaluating your case, and you usually get ghost updates during that time. So if he or she is not convinced with a set of documents what you have submitted, or it's not going in sync with what the documents or supporting information you have submitted, he or she will definitely ask you for the ADR, and that's where you have to submit. Usually they give you like with pay stubs, proof of relationship, notice of assessment, T4 form. They usually give you 7 days time period because this is the information should be readily available with you. Now for those like police clearance certificate or I would say RCMP fingerprints. So these are the documents where you might take up to 30 days time period. So they would definitely give you that time lot. Now, submitted documents to IRCC was on October 29th, and then he's got the PR portal email. Now, if you see here, that he was able to link up his application on September 28th. A month, it was like no update was there. So a month later, he was able to get the ADR. So this could be the same scenario for those who were able to link up the application and they're still wondering that, oh, it's more than now 1.5 months. So don't need to worry. You will be asked to submit the document if any paucity is there. Then the credentials were received on November 5th. And now if you see here, applicant has submitted last 3 pay stubs. And this is exactly I was talking about. Now, again, he was asked, like he has applied on May. So he has submitted last 3 months pay stubs. So if you see, we have bi-weekly, payment structure like on 15th of every month and then 30th of every month. So he submitted, I'm sure, like 3 of them. So now he has to submit from January to May. So this was the duration he has worked with. Now, before I forget to address those, if you have left the current company, you don't need to worry about. You need to be working till May 6th. That's it. Even if you're not working at the specific roles for, say, this candidate, or you have applied under Stream B and now you have switched to a different industry altogether, you don't have to get panic because the requirement was that as per IRCC, you should be working 1,560 hours irrespective to part-time, full-time in last 3 years time period, and you need to support that application with experience letter, your pay stubs, T4 forms, stuff like that. Even if you have any confusion, you can always write back. I will be addressing to all your queries towards the end of this video for sure. Now the timeline for international graduate, second case. This applicant has applied on May 6th at 9:37 a.m. Pacific time. So BIL, again, you'll be provided with the biometric instruction letter. So he was given on August 4th. He was able to link up the application on August 5th. There was no other document required except BIL request. Now he was able to submit it on the very same day where he linked up his application, that is August 5th, and passed the medicals 5 days later. That's this is the information you get in your portal, that he's not passing it, like he got the information that medicals passed when he was able to link up the application. And this is exactly I was talking about. If you're able to link up the application, you will see all the updates in your portal. Now, during the time of submission, he had submitted the old medicals. So even if you have submitted old medicals, that would be valid, or even your IELTS with a validity of 2 years, and PCC, of course, needs to be valid for at least 6 months. Now, I have also covered in my previous video just to reiterate the same information. In case if you have applied for police clearance certificate and you're not getting any ADR or any acknowledgement from IRCC and your PCC is likely to get expired, although IRCC is not going to accept any unsolicited document, means that if they've not asked for any document, they will not accept it. But on a safer side, you can always attach or send the copy of your PCC, through IRCC web form. So, they might consider it at the time when they needed it. So he got the ghost updates end of August, and medicals were the old one which he submitted as a part of his previous application in 2018. He got the ADR on September 15th. I don't have the information what additional document were required, but it varies, case to case. So there was a portal request that was on September 27th, and the very next day he got the ECOPR. Now I've tried to cover this. How much time does it take in getting the PR card after ECOPR? So if you see here, on September 28th, ECOPR was received. Now this would again vary from case to case. Some of you might get it a little early, or some of you might get it a little later. So the card was linked on October 19th, almost like 20 days later, and then they got the PR card approved. That's November 1st. So it almost take like 1.5 or maybe 1 to 1.5 month time from ECOPR to PR card, and that PR card was arrived. When I say arrived, he did not receive it in email or something. At this time, like portal request, a candidate needs to update his photograph and his later address. Now I had query about the Quebec applicants in my earlier video. So my point is, let me just clarify. I hope that makes sense. If you are residing in Quebec and you have submitted the application under TR to PR pathway and stated that you have an intention to move out from Quebec, at this point of time, you are a May applicant, like you have applied on May 6th, for say, or May 7th, and you have not received any AOR from IRCC. This is an exact time. Start working to move out from Quebec. Start looking for place outside Quebec, maybe in Toronto, maybe in Calgary, wherever you want to reside. And now, at this stage, when you get the PR portal request, you need to submit your latest photograph. That I'm sure you would have that, but also your latest proof of address. Now, proof of address would include your bank statement. So, bank statement will have the address where exactly you're putting. So, if you have not started working, moving out of Quebec, you will end up showing the same address, and that would give you a chance to get your application rejected, because this is one of the condition that you have to move out of Quebec. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, moving on to another timeline is for international graduate. This applicant has applied on May 6th at 3:15 p.m. Eastern time. The application was linked October 15th. Now, this is exactly, I'm sure like 70% of you might be struggling with the same. So this is 3:15 p.m. time, and application was linked on October 15th. There was no response in between. So yeah, and now see how quick it has happened. AOR was received on October 17th. Then there was an ADR for police clearance certificate, IELTS, and IMM 5669. And I'm sure this must have the validity of 7 days submission. So he was supposed to submit all the documents within 7 days, and that's how it was done. The request was done on October 2nd, and he has uploaded the documents very next day. Now, if you see from October 2nd till November 1st, he has got he just had to wait, and then application was approved on November 2nd. So within a 1 month's time period. And then he got the portal link on November 3rd, and ECOPR was received November 5th. Now, this is really an interesting case. Now, I also wanted to highlight that, a lot of you must be thinking that TR to PR pathway under journal stream is all closed November 5th. So, yes, so we are expecting good news in terms of Federal Skilled Worker Program updates, and I will be covering that very soon on that too. This is a timeline for international graduate, another case on at 1:50 p.m. Eastern Time. So BIL was done on October 16th. The very day he was able to link up the application on October 16th. The same case scenario. There was not a single response from May 6th till October 15th. So if you see here, he was able to receive the AOR on October 19th. There was an ADR from IMM 5669 form, PCC, proof of income, T4 for 2020, and the travel history. So if you have traveled all across the world, or maybe you have had unusual traveling, visa officer would definitely ask you, and that's the reason they would also ask you PCC. Now, PCC is required from any candidate wherever you have resided for more than 6 months time. So this is one requirement. He has submitted it, and then he has uploaded the document on November 1st and got the approval on November 3rd itself. Very same day, he was able to get the portal link and then ECOPR, that is November 5th. Now he just have to wait for the PR card, and it would again take some more time. Moving on to another timeline is for stream B with two dependents. Now, if you see here, this applicant has applied on May 6th at 9:50 a.m. Pacific time with two dependents. Now, if you see here that AOR was received on August 12th, and 2 days later, he was able to submit the PCC and biometrics, and PR portal was done on November 3rd. Now, we are sitting on November 7th. So by this time, he must have received the ECOPR, maybe like, on Monday or Tuesday, he should receive that. So this is like with two dependents, and with the dependents, the process of course takes more than usual time. Reason is very clear that now IRCC would ask you not for the documentation for one applicant. They will be asking for 3 or 4 or whatever the number of dependents you have under the application, because there would be like 2 PCC requirement if you are husband and spouse, and then a marriage document, proof of your relationship. So there's more information to be required. And of course, we have the application forms with that. This is another timeline for international graduate. He has applied on May 6th at 8:40. I don't have the zone, but I'm assuming it should be, Eastern time only. BIL was received on October 27th, and he's received the AOR on the next day, October 28th. The very next day, he submitted, the biometric, and he got the information by IRC Service Canada that it's been done. And then he has received the ADR for IRCC from IRCC for police clearance certificate. So PCC, if you have not submitted, definitely visa officer would ask you to submit. Please make sure it has to be within its validity time period. Don't send the expired one, otherwise it's going to delay your process. Now, also, if you are planning to move out from Canada, I'm just kind of address the queries. Some of you are still thinking that, oh, we would like to travel to India or to your native country and you have not received AOR. I would highly recommend you, unless and until it's not very important, try to hold on to your traveling, because if you travel, your process would get delayed, and IRCC would definitely email you that once you come back to Canada, please let us know so we can proceed further. So just keep that in mind. He was able to successfully link his application on October 29, and then he was able to upload the application, like the police clearance certificate, on October 31st. Medical were passed on November 5th. Moving on to another timeline is for stream B, English category. So where the applicant has applied on May 7th at 12:57 a.m. Eastern time. So BIL was, for dependents at like on November 2nd. So this is like an outland application. And this is amazing. If you see the timeline, it's 12:57 a.m. AOR was not received in this case. An application was linked yesterday, that November 6th. So he saw the update under his portal that medicals were passed. So eligibility, this usually you see under your portal that, eligibility, background check. And I have I've shared the screenshot how exactly it looks like in my previous video. The link has to be in the description box below. So the background check was in still process. There's another timeline for healthcare. Thank you so very much for sharing your Kale, Huchan. I have it here. So I'm just kind of covering. So yeah, this is the one. So he has applied on May 12th, 10:54 a.m. Yeah, and it's under healthcare stream. AOR was received on 5th November 2021, and BIL was done on November 3rd, 2021. So if you would like to share your cases, you can definitely go under my channel, and you should be able to, just to put the details over here. Now, moving on to your queries, I would like to share here. So a lot of you had the same queries. So I'm just trying to address it. Okay, let's cover this one. Hi Renu, I applied TR to PR on September 22nd with 1,560 hours in the essential worker healthcare stream, but it was not complete 1 year because I have been working since September 16, 2020. However, my consultant decided to withdraw my application on November 3rd. Okay, and he has resubmitted it after withdrawing. I would like to know it will affect my application. I'm afraid that they will not consider my application. Okay. The good thing is that you have applied under healthcare stream, and what a timing that you were able to do it before November 5th. Now, for those who might get confused, November 5th was a deadline where a visa officer has clearly mentioned, or IRCC has indicated, that applications under TR to PR pathway would get closed under general category. So you don't need to worry about that because the requirement is you need to have 1,560 hours, and I'm covering it for all of you in last 3 years time period, irrespective to whether it's a part-time or a full-time. That means even if you have worked 20 hours, or for like 30 hours in a week's time. So it depends upon your experience. Under this category, this applicant has applied under healthcare stream, or even if you have applied under non-healthcare, you need to have that amount of experience. In case if you don't have that, which was the scenario before withdrawing, I would have assumed that it might have got rejected. But now you don't need to worry about that because the main yardstick is that you need to have that experience. So you're all good. All right, moving on to another. Um, Hi, ma'am. I got my issue PR on September 17 and still no update on my PR card. It's been almost 2 months and I'm still waiting. My picture is still. I hope I would be able to resolve this query with this. If you see here, I'll just explain. Yeah, this one. So if you see here that the applicant took almost like 1.5 months time, so it varies from case to case. However, if you are still in doubt, I would highly recommend to contact IRCC 1-888-242-2100. So you can just check with them and they should be able to help you. But again, you don't need to follow up much because it's just a processing time. And in case if you have applied, like looks like you are an individual applicant, but in case if you have applied with dependents, it does take little time. So if you see my picture is still under review, please help. In that case, you can just check with the IRCC, explain that this was the scenario and how soon I would be able to get the update. Now, when you contact IRCC customer support, honestly, they don't have an access to your account. They can only give the information whatever the update they have received. This you can also see on cic.gc.ca website also, but it's good to contact them so you will get fair amount of understanding. Now, hi ma'am, my friend's study visa got rejected. He applied on September 6th and done biometrics on September 16th and got rejection on November 1st. Again, he reapplied. He got a ghost update. His course starts by January 6th. Can he expect an update? I'll address you, one-on-one, but raising a web form would not do any harm to your application. It's just that study visa is entirely a different ball game. So I will be covering that. Okay. Now here is the thing. Hi ma'am, I applied application on 6 June in TR to PR and also applied for open work permit on 7th August, but I did not get any letter or email. Remember, okay, on both points. And when I try to link up with GCKey, the message appears that no record found with this information. Now, Pavanjeet, sometimes there could be a technical glitch, so you don't need to worry about much about it. I would recommend you have applied in June 6th. I'm just assuming that your app question is more towards TR to PR pathway. So June 6th, of course, will take time. And for those who have applied after May 10th or May 11th, this will take another a month or two. Why I'm not saying 2 to 3 months? Because IRCC has started speeding the cases. So it could be any time. And based upon today's timeline, if you see, people were not getting any response from IRCC for like good 4 to 5 months. And all of a sudden, they have started getting AOR, then linked up their applications. So this is really a good news. And I would definitely recommend just to have patience. Even in this case, Amanchan, मुझे 6 मई को AOR आ गया था, medical passed same day, and then same day received ADR, and I will submit 23rd November. Now अब तक कितना टाइम मैक्सिमम तक अपडेट मिल सकता है? See, again, your case is going through a smooth patch, so you don't need to worry about that. And May 6th, don't need to get worried. In any ways, you might not take more than a month's time period, honestly speaking, because they are kind of just covering up all the lot on May 6th. All right, so I will address all your queries. If you have any confusion, I will try to know. Hi, Renu. Thank you for your video, but I would like to see some more videos related to PR applications as well. Yeah, Zina, I would be covering more onto it, and I have covered on federal skilled worker programs in my previous videos also, so you can always check in the link under the description box below. But yeah, federal skilled worker program is again on way, like back to track, because we are just done with TR to PR pathway on November 5th. I will be covering on TR to PR pathway regularly, but also I will cover more on federal skilled worker program soon as and when we hear from them. Okay, hi Renu, happy Diwali. Your videos are really helping for checking the timeline. I had a quick question. I have submitted my application under international graduate at 12:30 a.m. before the portal got closed. I still need to update my medicals and PCC. Should I wait for IRCC AOR or should I send them through web form? Well, you can actually do it, but as I said that IRCC is not accepting any unsolicited document, but it's to be on a safer side, you can certainly do that. Reason being is that PCC will have its validity of 6 months time period, so we don't want to lose upon that. If possible, you can certainly go ahead and do the needful. So yeah, we'll take it from there. Uh, Now, Preet Singh, yeah, thanks for joining the channel. You can always support the channel by just going to join. Okay, let's address the query. Can we visit outside Canada after submitting the application? Can we be outside Canada at the time when we receive AOR and come back before the final? Yeah, you can't receive an AOR even if you are outside Canada, because IRCC will not ask you for any kind of information, right? But when you receive the PR portal, like towards the PR portal, he would ask you to submit the proof of address and your photograph and your existence where you are. If you are outside Canada, there would be a delay in the process because the applicant has had an experience where they have received the AOR, they moved to India, spending some quality time with the family, and I understand that. I miss that too. So yeah, so eventually you can just go with that. All right, this is all from me. I would recommend you to hold on to your traveling if you can. Till then, take care, stay safe. Bye.